Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Light, and welcome to Racing Lights Productions, your home for sim racing. We are live at the virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway for the online Motorsports Association's Virtual Racing Championship, Larson Line 200. I want to take a moment to apologize for last week's broadcast. After having a cold, I lost my voice, which you can hear is still not back, but last week I was unable to provide commentary during the Stars and Stripes 300. Hopefully you'll enjoy the broadcast still, and as well as some of the new features that we were taking the opportunity to test out last week. Last week at Charlotte, we saw a lot of green flag racing. The race finished with Jewah claiming his 50th OMA victory, and has now back-to-back wins for the reigning champion. He'll look to continue that dominance as we enter the second half of the regular season. Tonight at Homestead, drivers will have some interesting challenges ahead of them. Not only is this track one of the more challenging tracks on the Season 11 schedule, it also poses a challenge of multi-groove racing. There are many lines that drivers can opt to take throughout the race. Don't be surprised to see some drivers pushing hard to the wall on the corners, while others elect to get on the brakes and drive it down to the white line in an attempt to save tires. One of the challenges of Homestead is the car control on exits. The cars tend to get very loose on corner exit, so don't be surprised to see several drivers fighting the car, especially early and late on long runs. With all that being said, let's head over to the schedule to see the remaining races in the regular season. So like I said, you guys have to bear with me with my voice. It is, as you can tell, very, very shaky. But looking at the schedule ahead, we have the Red Bull Ring. That is going to take place on the 24th. If you take everything, just bump it to the next date. That's how the schedule lays out. So the Red Bull Ring is going to be in 2 weekends. Then we're going to have Pocono and Talladega to finish out the regular season. Then to kick off the playoffs, we go Darlington, Road Racing at Coda, to Vegas, Atlanta, Dover, and then the championship race at Chicagoland like we had in Season 10. Now, taking a look over the driver's standings, last week Drew and Jarrett were tied. This week, Drew is back on top. He is, for the first time this season, claimed the points lead, and Jarrett Talmadge tied with Jolene Sims, both 8 points back. You can see a couple drivers further back there as well. James Mendez in 4th, Min Hang in 5th, Isaac Shelley 6th, Tim Moore tied with Isaac Shelley, still looking for his first win since the OMA VRC has made the switch to iRacing. But then you can take a look at the top 10. The last one in on points currently is Jared Newton. If you look, 11th and 12th are wild card spots currently held by Brad Qualls and JT Sipes. Again, if a driver outside of that top 10 is a race winner, they get one of those 2 wild card spots, which is 11th and 12th. But they have to be within so many points of, I believe, the top 10 in order to make that. So, taking a look at the team standings after Charlotte, McGinnis Motorsports still claims a team standings lead. Planet Sim Esports, Nexus Esports, 2nd and 3rd, very close behind. Really no changes there after last race. But for the most part, everybody just kind of holding steady. Pretty close between the top 5, only about 47 points separate. So a good race by SS Motorsports or OCM Racing. They can be right back in the fight for the team championship. The qualifying should be ending up here shortly, just about a minute more of qualifying. Give me one moment here. Need to take a drink of water. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to be going back and forth between talking and not talking throughout tonight's race. Just doing the best I can to make sure my voice can make it throughout the broadcast. Yeah, we've adjusted the volume and everything, so hopefully things can make it. My voice is again, very, very raspy. I'm going to do the best I can. This last week, I know no commentary. It was really rough for me to do. I really wanted to commentate on the race, but at the same time, there was no way. My voice was way worse than this. Oh yeah, I sound like a completely different person. It's bad. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually a teacher. So my students commented on my voice every day. They're like, "It sounds really bad, Mr. Light." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It sounds like garbage." All right, well, look, it looks like qualifying is out of the way. So let's take a look at our starting lineup for the Larson Line 200. On pole yet again this season, Jolene Sims. She put in a time of 32.245. Jewah will be starting alongside, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is going to be starting parking tonight because he is going to be going to the FTF 500. So best of luck for him if that is the case. In row two, we've got Jared Talmadge alongside Brian Baker. Then in row three, in fifth place, we've got Tim Moore with James Mendez in sixth place. Actually, almost identical times between those two drivers. In row four, we've got Thomas Green and Victor Imbasiani. And then in row five, we've got Jonathan Amodio in ninth place and Andrew Jamelin, a new driver here tonight. Looks like he's a part of Marlowe Motorsports. Outside of the top 10, we've got Jared Newton and Christopher Lull. And then we've got in row 7, Ryan Miniker and Noah McGalliard. And then rounding out the field tonight, both drivers not qualifying are Brad Qualls and Justin Rosema, another new driver here to the OMA VRC. I'm feeling fine, guys. Like, that's the thing. I'm not feeling sick. I got sick, like, it was the middle of last week. It was, like, last Wednesday. And then Thursday, my voice, like, started going. Friday was, like, gone altogether. And then Saturday, I had nothing. So this is a lot better than it was last week. And it's better at the beginning of the day than it is at night. So unfortunately, you were getting the worst end of my voice due to it being at night. But I'm doing the best I can. Like I said, I'll be drinking lots of water throughout the broadcast. All right, so cars are out. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Bit of a small field here tonight, which means lots of good opportunities for points. We got some new faces on the field, some new numbers. But it's going to be a good race for those that are here. We should expect lots of green flag racing here tonight. So as they come around turn 4, Jolene Sims. She is on pole tonight. Jared Talmadge in second place. He moves up onto the inside, and we are green flag racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Larson Line 200. So after lap 1, we have Jared Talmadge up to the race lead. Thomas Green moves up into second place. Jolene Sims drops back to third. And you already can see the variety of lines out there. Lots of drivers electing to go all the way to the bottom. You've got some going all the way to the top. The top line is going to be the faster line early on. The big issue you're going to have is you're going to burn up that right front if you run all the way up there. It's a big balance between trying to push that right front as well as burning off that right rear. So we'll see how drivers do trying to balance that throughout the race. We'll see how on the longer runs, if you're able to balance it, you're going to get great rotation in the middle of the corners. If you're not, we're going to either see drivers plow into the wall or plow through the corner, which means they burn up the right front, or you'll see them get really loose on exits, which means they burned up that right rear. So we'll kind of see how things go as we go throughout the race. But early on, we've got a battle right now for third place. James Mendez alongside Thomas Green. They're side by side coming across the line, battle for third place. James Mendez choosing that high line right now early on. He's been running up there, as well as the one of Brian Baker. Looks like Thomas Green going to be able to pull ahead. James Mendez going to drop back a little bit. He's going to fall in line. Tim Moore up to 4th place. Side by side right behind, though, Victor and Bassiani, Brian Baker. Bassiani going all the way to the bottom. Sometimes it's hard to get that car to stick on the white line because sometimes here at Homestead, there's not a ton of grip down there. So far, Victor and Bassiani looking like he can make that work pretty well. And now it seems like we're going single file throughout the field. So Jared Talmadge trying to pull away. He's about 7/10 ahead of Jolene Sims, but back here, the battle for 6th place rages on. We got Brian Baker working his way around Victor and Bassiani on the backstretch. Looks like the two of them trying to see if they could catch up to James Mendez up ahead. But while we go around, while we hop on board, take a lap around with Tim Moore. You get a chance to see what it's like going around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. He's currently riding out in 5th place. And interesting to hear, you hear him shifting. He drops down to 4th gear into the corners. And just about at the end of the straights is when he shifts up to 5th gear. Going a little bit further ahead here, though. Battle for 2nd place. Jolene Sims trying to hold off Thomas Green. They're slowly closing in on Jared Talmadge. He pulled away rather quickly at the beginning of the race. However, now on lap 8, we can see that gap has shrunk considerably. Take a look in the bottom right corner. You can see that gap went from about 7/10 now down to now less than 4/10 of a second as they're trying to get closer and closer to this 16. We're going to go a little bit back further in the field. The battle for 6th place still going on. 5th place if you throw in James Mendez. Victor and Bassiani, Brian Baker keep swapping spots here, going back and forth. You got to be careful driving like that. Definitely going to burn up your stuff, but at the same time, big points in that points race for some of these drivers who normally aren't this far up in the point standings. So it looks like Baker might be settling in behind Bassiani. We go through turns 1 and 2. Look out, here comes Jonathan Amodio right behind him, the 23. He's in the Mobile 1 machine tonight. Amodio's had a lot of really good runs here lately. So don't be surprised to see him maybe work his way through the field right now. It seems like he may be a little bit conservative as he's riding a little bit further back from these drivers. So jumping up back to the front of the field, we've got Jared Talmadge still holding on to the race lead with Jolene Sims right on his back bumper now. Contact almost between the two. Talmadge on the inside, Jolene Sims on the outside, going through turns 3 and 4. How hard is Sims going to push, though? Slide job by the 16 is going to keep him on the front of the field. See how much longer he can hold on to it then. So Jolene Sims trying to see if she can push and make her way to the front. Not going to be able to get around the 16 that time. but she's going to ride the high line, show off the run on the front stretch. But it looks like she made contact with the outside wall. It's definitely going to hold her up a little bit. She dives down to the inside. It's not going to be enough. A little bit of a wiggle might have caught the apron. It's going to allow Talmadge to hold on to this race lead for a little while longer. A look to the inside for Jolene Sims. She's there side by side. Is it going to be enough, though, on the exit? No, it will not be, so she drops in behind. The battling between Jolene Sims and Jared Talmadge, just giving Thomas Green and Tim Moore an opportunity to get closer and closer, as well as play a little conservative between the two of them. But as you can see on the left side of your screen, the front four really pulling away from the rest of the field. About a second gap between Tim Moore and James Mendez is side by side. Jolene Sims, Jared Talmadge across the front stretch. Jolene Sims going for some side draft deep to the inside. She's going to try and pull ahead. Can she get the slide job pulled off? Not going to as Jared Talmadge pulls alongside. Little squirrely on the exit. Jolene Sims to the front. Can she hold the lead through the backstretch and through turns 3 and 4 to get her first lap lead of the day? So Jolene Sims takes the race lead, and Tim Moore has moved his way up to the podium. So the battle up front rages on. Let's take a look further back in the field. This is the battle for 11th place. We've got Brad Qualls in the 13. Currently riding in 11th place, we've got Andrew Jamelin, one of the newcomers here tonight. He is in the 65. He's going to go on the outside down the front stretch. A great run from him was going to get him ahead. Taking a look, Jared Newton here with Ryan Miniker behind. Really impressive to see how close Miniker can push that car to the outside wall as he is running that right up there along the wall. A huge slide from Newton. He manages to save it. It's going to allow Miniker to pull closer and closer here. We'll see if Miniker's going to try and make a move. Doesn't look like he's going to. So Newton, a little bit of contact with the outside wall coming around turn 1. Jolene Sims still holding on to the race lead. It's actually pulling away a little bit from Jared Talmadge. That gap building just a little bit each and every lap. Tim Moore seems to be holding on behind, keeping that distance about the same between him and Jolene. Looks like Thomas Green has fallen off a little bit himself, as he's now over a second back from the top three drivers. Taking a look, this is a battle that's been back and forth for a lot of this opening stint. You got Victor and Bassiani. Ryan Baker going at it for 6th place. Bassiani a little loose coming out of turn 2. Allows Baker to get right back in this fight. So taking a look up in 2nd place, Tim Moore trying to close that gap, trying to look for an opportunity on the inside of the line, try and catch up more time on Jared Talmadge. Is actually going to lose a good bit of time there. Seems like Tim Moore might be trying a different line, try and find a little bit of extra pace going down to the inside. Jolene Sims checking out at this point. She's over a second ahead of Jared Talmadge. That gap continues to build as we go longer and longer into this run. We should have pit stops coming up here very soon, probably within the next 10 laps or so. Taking a look at the battle of 4th place. Thomas Green, James Mendez. Mendez been holding nice and steady back there in 5th. Thomas Green has been slowly dropping back, so not sure what's going on with the 3 car. If there's damage or just trying to find pace. That's going to be James Mendez trying to move up to 4th place. Big slide for the 92 coming off of turn 2. Good save, though. Keeps him right back in it. Like I said in the beginning of the broadcast, lots of drivers are going to start having trouble late in the run, whether it's the car getting loose or the car is pushing real tight through the middle of the corner because you're either burned off the right front too much, going to cause you to get tight, you burn off that right rear, which is going to cause you to get loose coming on the exits. We're seeing a lot of drivers either getting in the wall because they're having trouble getting that car to rotate, or like we saw with Mendez there a couple times, or Victor and Bassiani, that car gets really loose on the exit, and you have to really fight to save it and hold on to it. Not sure what's going on with the 69 of Tim Moore, but he has lost a lot of time. Not only to Jared Talmadge, but to Jolene Sims, and now back almost a full second from the 16. Jared Talmadge falling back even more from Jolene Sims. Pop up there, take a look here real quick at the lap times between him and Jolene. She is gaining anywhere between basically 2 to 3 tenths a lap. That lasts up nearly half a second faster for Jolene Sims. Absolutely insane the pace that she is pulling out right now. She is doing phenomenal work up there in that 6 machine. Going a little bit further back, we've got a good battle for 7th place now. Jonathan Amodio, Victor Imbasciani going back and forth. Is Imbasciani going to try and make a move here into turn 1? He's going to hang back on Amodio. Seen Imbasciani get some really good exits. But that car, he is fighting it real hard on exit. You can see big wiggle from the back end coming out of turn 2. Looks like Amodio going to be able to pull away here. Moving up a little bit further, the battle for 4th place starting to really heat up. We've got a slew of cars battling it out for 5th place at this point. Between Thomas Green, James Mendez, Brian Baker. Baker's been slowly working his way up the field, getting back into this battle. Looking to put himself maybe into the top 5. He can work his way around James Mendez. Down to the inside goes Baker. Looks like Thomas Green into the outside wall. Big opportunity here for Mendez and Baker to try and move up. Oh, big push here. 3 coming down the front stretch. And it's going to be Mendez clearing. Going down the inside 2 by 2 here with Thomas Green. They go side by side through 1 and 2. Baker going to be on the back bumper of Mendez. Seeing if he can push him to keep him right up there with a 3. That outside line showing to be really hard to pass. You really have to make that inside line stick if you're going to work around somebody on the outside. Mendez down to pit lane. He's going to come down. We've already had Imbasciani come down pit lane as well. As this battle continues, I want to take a look here. Let's go right on board with Jolene Sims, your race leader, and just see how she's driving around right now. Doing a phenomenal job keeping this car together. Oh, never mind. She's going to come down pit lane. So we'll get back to this battle for 4th place. Thomas Green going to come down pit lane now. So Tim Moore going to be your new race leader. See how much longer he stays out. Stage tonight, lap 67. Remember, it's taken at the start of lap 67. You do not take cautions at stage. Continue rolling green flag racing through the stage break. Just look at our current 5th place driver. But she should assume the race lead through the pit cycle. The gap between her and Jarrett Talmadge about 3.5 seconds right now. And with that, Jolene Sims is back to the race lead. Got a good battle waging on though back here. Battle for 6th place between Amodio and Baker. Jonathan Amodio is slowly picking his way through the field. He is now up to 6th place. Started back in 9th. He's the biggest mover here tonight so far. I will say, it seemed like Baker had a lot more pace on the long run than a lot of the drivers in the short run. But right now, he's put up a good fight between the 23. Trying to see if he can work his way back up because he was fighting for 5th place. Something must have happened there for the one car on pit road because he had a slow pit. No, he didn't have a slow pit stop. Not sure what happened there for Baker then. He was right there battling it out between him and James Mendez and Thomas Green. So while this battle continues, let's take a look at the pit stops there. So you can get an idea of where everybody came down pit lane. Victor Imbasciani, the earliest to come in on lap 33. Few drivers, Brian Baker, Tim Moore, Jared Newton, all staying out till lap 38. I wouldn't think that for Baker, that extra lap would cause him to lose that much time between Green and Mendez, but I guess it did. Not sure what had happened there for the one car. That last lap, Tim Moore just set his fastest lap of the race. It's actually the fastest lap of the race. He's finding time. He's getting faster. We'll see if it's going to help him. He has a lot of time to make up. It's all about racing the track right now at this point. Not trying to worry about racing and trying to pass people. He's got a while to go, but he can slowly chip away time and manage those tires throughout the run. He might give himself an opportunity to get up there to race for the win. Jolene through that first stint, her pace was unmatched, so I don't know. It's going to be tough for somebody to try and get up there and compete with her if she's going to have that long run pace that she did during that first stint. So as we saw through the first green flag run, that inside line, it's hard to make work early on in the run. That outside line is just carrying so much speed. You can see again here that outside line. James Mendez is showing how well that outside line works. Thomas Green unable to make his way around and is still holding on to 4th place. We crossed lap 50. Just a few more laps remain until we get to our stage. As a reminder, stage points are taken at the beginning of lap 67. These two definitely going to continue fighting real hard because big difference in a point. Mendes, who's currently riding the top 5 for points, can have himself a really good start to the season. Not only having that race win at Michigan, oh, very close between the two. We're going to go side by side down the front stretch here. And it looks like going to be Thomas Green holding on. Don't look now. Don't be surprised to see if Mendes maybe moves it on the outside line. But it looks like maybe it's been at that point where the tires have really settled in for that inside. We saw this the first time between the two of these drivers. The longer it went on the run, the better that inside worked. And Thomas Green's starting to pull away, so maybe Mendes pushing a little bit too hard on that outside line. Oh, but James Mendes must have gone to the wall there. You see a move made here. Or wait, sorry. Thinking the wrong thing because I just saw his time change. He lost a lot of time to Thomas Green, my bad. What I was going to say was, let's take a look here real quick. The time difference between Tim Moore and Jared Talmadge, you can see over the past couple of laps. For a while there, Tim Moore was gaining a good bit of time, and now it's slowed down a little bit more. His gain has become less significant, but he's still slowly closing that gap to Jared Talmadge. Jolene Sims marching on. She's lapped a fair amount of drivers right now. Only 8 cars remain on the lead lap at this point in the race. Aside from Bassiani, not sure if it was contact between him and Jared Newton, but he keeps the car straight. So as Jolene gets ready to come across the line, there's going to be white flag for the stage. Jolene continues to build that gap to not only Jared behind, but Tim as well, as Tim was gaining time, and then all of a sudden it is just totally shifted. You can see the distance between Jolene and Jared over the past 5 laps changed by about 1 full second. It's incredible what she's been able to do on the long run. This pace unmatched by any other driver in the field. She's going to take the stage win. And as drivers come across the line, we'll go and start going through our mid-race breakdown, where we have an opportunity to go through and show you where your favorite drivers are at on track here at the halfway point of the race. So like we said, Jolene Sims gets the stage win. She is first place right now on the track. And Jared Talmadge in the 16 is currently riding out in second place. That thing is actually outdated. He is no longer tied for the points lead. He is in second place. Tim Moore riding in third place. You can see he's trying to catch up with Jared, but is also losing some time to Jolene altogether, though. Almost 9 seconds back now, but he's been doing really well. Third place, I think, would be one of his best finishes of the season. Thomas Green been holding steady in fourth place. Held a little bit of a gap between him and James Mendez. They were fighting a good bit earlier on, but it seems like he's kind of settled in, got himself in a groove. James Mendez a little bit further back, 5th place right now for him. Jonathan Modio slowly working his way through the field, trying to see if he can catch up to Mendez and Green, currently riding out in 6th place, about 2 seconds back from James Mendez, trying to see if he can continue to gain time, but he's been nice and steady on these long runs. Good job for him. Brian Baker not too far behind. He's currently riding out in 7th place. He's been up and down, but he's been pretty steady on the long run pace. 7th place kind of seems to where he's settled right now. Andrew Jamelin, a little bit of a slow start. He's making his way up through the field up to now 8th place. Still holding on to the lead lap. Not much longer though. Jolene is knocking on his door. First car lap down will be the 45 of Jared Newton. He's currently riding out 9th place, just barely inside the top 10. Ryan Miniker, the last car of the top 10, 1 lap down as well. Christopher Law in the 17 is in 11th place. He's currently 1 lap down. Victor Imbasciani, he had some really good moments. And then he's had some moments where he's struggled with car control, and that's caused him to go now 2 laps down. He's currently in 12th place. Brad Qualls is in 13th. He is currently riding out 3 laps down. And you got Noah McGalliard, hits the wall a little bit, currently in 14th place. And you got Jimmy Amos riding out in 15th. Then you got Jewah in 16th, and maybe you got Justin Rosema in 17th. So with that all being said, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to go to fill up my water real quick. I'll be back in a few minutes. I apologize for having to take a break, but I have gone through all my water. I need to refill it so I can hydrate. Hopefully have a voice for interviews for post-race. Sorry about having to step away for a moment. While I was gone, we missed our second round of green flag pit stops. With that all being said, though, drivers will only have to make one more round, so it'll be quite interesting to see the strategy to see if drivers split it in half, or they try to see if they can push it as far as they can, and then just have to fill up as minimal fuel as possible. It'll be interesting to see the mix of strategies. Lap 30 is, or sorry, with 30 to go, is going to be where you start to see drivers come down pit lane. But man, Mendez and Green just cannot seem to get away from each other. Back at it again. As battle wages on, let's take a moment to look at our pit strategy here through our second round of pit stops. You can see most drivers coming around lap 75 or 76. James Mendez was the earliest one to come on lap 71. And Andrew Jamelin went in on 73. If we take a look, you can see how long the stints were. Those drivers taking their fuel and tires about 38 laps. So as a reminder, next week we are going to be off for the the Daytona 500 weekend. Our next race will be in 2 weeks on February 24th. That'll be in Austria. It'll be the Red Bull Ring, so it'll be an interesting road course for these cars because we've never really taken these cars there. I think the most interesting somebody's done, I've seen different leagues take the next gen cars to Le Mans, which is surprisingly fun. I mean, granted, NASCAR kind of did that in real life, but yeah, there's a mix of tracks these cars have gone. People have done them at. They did Long Beach last season, which was really good racing. The Red Bull Ring will definitely be interesting with the insane elevation to turn 3, as well as the some of like the medium speed corners this car doesn't really thrive in, or at least when it comes to road course racing. So as we continue, oh wait, caution is out. Not sure what brought that caution out. So let's see what brought out this caution. It might have been Thomas Green. Oh, yep, right there. Him sliding, no wreck. Just getting loose on the exit. That caused him to bin it. So it's going to get interesting, though. Gonna bunch the field with 45 now to go. I would assume most drivers coming down for fuel and tires. But it's also going to throw off strategies. You're going to have to try and figure out when to come down at the end. Do you wait till the last moment to come down for a splash and dash? Do you take right side tires? What do you do? What is your strategy coming around the... what is your strategy coming around for that final pit stop? Because you're going to make it down to about the last, like, 10-ish laps is where you're going to need to come down for that quick splash. That green flag run, a lot shorter. You take a look there, most drivers coming in. Only about 14 to 15 laps for most drivers on those tires. So not even a half of a run on that fuel run. All right, so this time around, drivers are going to do their choose. So you'll see the drivers in front of Jolene. They're going to take their wave around, but from Jolene back, they can either choose the inside line or the outside line. So interesting, only 3 drivers on the inside line. Jolene Sims, Jared Talmadge, and Jonathan Amodio. The outside line will be led by Tim Moore, with James Mendez, Brian Baker, Thomas Green behind, and then some others following in the back. So as we get ready to go green flag racing this time around, we're going to turn off my mic. I know I've been in and out, but we're going to turn it off, kick up the sounds on track to give you the sights and sounds of the Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're going to be going green flag with less than 45 to go. I hope you enjoy the sights and sounds of Miami Homestead Speedway. Right now, Jared Talmadge to the race lead. He's trying to see if he can pull away from Jolene Sims. Maybe he's learned a thing or two over the past couple green flag runs. Jolene Sims' late run has unmatched pace on the field. She is the fastest car once you get past that 20-lap mark. So we'll see if she can get to that point. That's going to be the big question. Can they get to that point where she's going to have that long run pace and be able to push that far in the race? Right now, Mendes and Modia Green all fighting out for what is fourth place. You're gonna have two different battles going on right now. The battle for fourth, battle for first. Thomas Green down to the inside. Gonna be side by side with Mendes on the exit. Not gonna be enough to be able to pull the slide job off. He's getting closer and closer every corner. Might be able to pull it off here through 3 and 4. Got a little bit of an opportunity side by side into the turn one this time. Going deep down to the inside, Thomas Green. To see if he can pull ahead here. Going to try to. He's going to pull up ahead slightly. Not enough to get ahead. So this battling caused him to fall further behind from Tim Moore. They're losing the top 3. They have a really good fight between these two drivers. Jonathan Amodio in a great spot. He's just waiting it out. All he needs is a mistake. He's got himself 2 free spots. And don't look a little bit further behind him, Andrew Jamelin also hanging out waiting for this battle to see kind of how things play out. Driver to keep an eye on, I think, through these final 32 laps is going to be that of the 69. Tim Moore looking for his first win ever since the OMA VRC has made the switch to iRacing. He has come close. He's been in second place many times for finishes. He's been in the top 5, top 3. He's been all over the field, but has yet to put his 69 car in victory lane. So he's going to be looking for that first elusive win. Tonight would be a great night to do it. Smaller field. He's been having good running all night. He's been in the top 3 in a podium position all race long. Just got to hold on and have that long run pace. He was doing a really good job maintaining speed throughout those longer runs. Problem was at the end, he just lost a ton of pace to Jolene Sims. Not to Jared, but to Jolene. We'll see if Jolene's going to have that extra little gear at the end of this run. Because right now, Jared's holding on to the lead. It's not by much, but Jolene being very, very patient right now. Something we're not usually accustomed to seeing from her. She usually has some really good early run pace and then falls off on the long run. She's doing a really good job keeping things real steady here early on, keeping this car nice and even and balanced so she can push late in the run. And Jared even made a comment over the driver radio earlier. And he said he was really jealous of the fact that she was able to drive that car on edge and have some unreal pace late in the run. He said his car was feeling great. He was doing really well. The car was comfortable, but just could not find that extra speed that Jolene had. And honestly, this battle for the race lead could come down to strategy. When do you come down for fuel? It's like we said, everybody's going to have to come down for fuel at some point. I don't believe any driver is good to make it to the end of the race. little bit of lap traffic, and Jimmy Amos coming through. Thankfully, the front three catching him on the straightaway, not really going to pose much of a problem. And there comes Tim Moore. He's going to be the first to come down pit lane. He's going to try and short pit the field for fuel. Give him clean air. We'll see if he takes tires only or if he elects for fuel too. Or, sorry, the other way around. If it's fuel only or fuel and tires. Very interesting. So he is going to take a full set of tires. The driver coming down, Thomas Green. So he's coming down pit lane as well. We'll keep you updated on if Thomas Green elects to take tires or not. Looks like he also got full service on his pit stop. Right now, two drivers are in the green to the end of the race. Those being Tim Moore and Thomas Green. And you can see right now we're getting close to that point, about halfway on this run. So we might see more drivers decide to come in. If we see these guys pushing another 14 laps, that's going to take us down to about 8 to go, 7 to go, somewhere around that range. And at that point, you really probably aren't going to want to take tires, but it's a tough call. Right now, I think, depending on how things play out, Thomas Green, Tim Moore might be in the sweet spot. They've got fresh tires. They can push. They could push the car a little bit harder than they normally would on a regular run because they only have about 22 laps to go. They're not trying to push the car for a full 38 laps. Jonathan Amodio comes down pit lane. He's the next one to come on down. Taking a look at the lap times, Jared Talmadge, he must have figured something out because he is gaining time on Jolene Sims just ever so slightly here. Like I said, we still got about 10 or so laps till we see these two come in if they are pushing it all the way to the end of the green flag run here or all the way to the end of the fuel stint. But still, he's gaining about a tenth of a second a lap, which is more than he could say at this point in any of the green flag runs so far. Andrew Jamelin now down pit road. It's going to be an interesting strategy race to see who it plays out for. You can see where everybody else is on track. Lindsey Thomas Green, Tim Moore right next to each other. Tim actually lost some time on pit road compared to Thomas Green. That's why he's currently behind him. So currently the top 5 have all yet to pit, as well as Jared Newton and Brad Qualls. This is currently the battle for 4th place and the battle for the lucky dog. Thomas Green and Tim Moore. Top 3 have all yet to pit. It looks like Jared Tallmadge going to be coming down pit lane this time. The Jolene Sims back to the race lead. 14 laps to go. Now's the time. If she's got pace, she's got to kick it into high gear. Ryan Baker in the 1 came down for just a splash. Jared Tallmadge looks like he is getting full service, so he's going to come out with a fresh set of tires. And interesting to see how this worked. Tim Moore, Thomas Green leapfrogging Jared Tallmadge through this run. Now the thing is, their tires, they're about 10 laps old or so. Jared is going to have fresh tires. We'll see how much faster his pace is going to be. You can see where Jared is coming around. For as they come around the start-finish line, Jared coming on the exit of turn 4. And to probably nobody's surprise, Jolene Sims is staying out here again. I would not be surprised if she stays out all the way through to the last possible moment. At this point, a caution would be huge for Jolene Sims and James Mendez. They would be the benefactors of a caution at this point. Thomas Green, Tim Moore also would be. They wouldn't have to worry about a wave around. They've already stopped. They don't really need to worry about it. They'd be on the lead lap. Really hurt a driver like Jared Tallmadge, who came down. Could be a lap down, had to take a wave around. Jonathan Amodio, Brian Baker, drivers like that would really get hurt if a caution were to come out here late. So last lap, Jared Tallmadge about a half a tenth faster than Tim Moore. We'll see if he's going to be able to gain time again. That 16 should be getting a full head of steam here soon. Is that lap almost a half a second faster than that of Tim Moore? So Jolene Sims goes around one more time. Will this be her last time around, or is she going to be able to make it one more time around the track? 8 laps to go. It's going to be quite the run to the end. Right now, Thomas Green might be your race leader after all these pit stops are said and done. Jolene stays out another lap. Here comes James Mendez down pit lane. 7 laps to go for Jolene Sims. And I might not be surprised. She... sounds like she might be clutching her way around the track. Yes, she is. She's getting way off the gas early. Holy cow, she's trying to see if she can stretch this all the way to the end. There's no way she's going to be able to do this, is it? This is an incredible feat if she's going to be able to do it. This is going to be the longest a fuel run has been stretched all race long. She's got a 23-second lead back to Thomas Green. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be done. Taking a look here in the bottom right, you can see how long their stints were. 39 laps going on lap 40 if she stays out again. I don't know if it's going to be possible for her to be able to keep this car on track with now 5 to go at the line. Does she have enough fuel to make it? Is it worth the effort trying to save all this fuel? It's going to be quite the battle. You can see she's only running about half the front stretch on the gas. Last lap was almost 3 seconds slower than Thomas Green. If she maintains this pace, she might walk away with a steal of a win. Or to go for Jolene Sims. You could see the gap shrinking rapidly on the left side of the screen. Jolene comes out of turn 4. Gap now down to 15 seconds, but to Thomas Green. She's going to make it 3 to go. It is getting close. Can she make it to the end? Is she going to steal this win at Homestead in the Larson Line 200? Thomas Green has himself about a second back, or sorry, 3/4 of a second back to Tim Moore. If Tim's got anything, he's got to pull it out now, but I don't think he does. He's had pace all night long, been in the top 3. Thomas Green, yeah, while he's been kind of riding around in the back, has made, or sorry, back half of the top 5. He's made himself to second place. Jolene Sims 2 to go. Barney the Flagman's going to have the white flag in hand next time around. Jolene Sims might be able to stretch this car all the way through. Tim Moore, Jared Talmadge going to be battling it out for 3rd place. Here comes Jared Talmadge going on the inside. Before that, though, white flag. Jolene Sims, does she have enough fuel? We're going to find out, but here we go. Jared Talmadge works his way around Tim Moore. Can he get Thomas Green as they come around the line? They take the white flag as well. We're going to jump up Jolene Sims. Does she have enough fuel? Is she going to make it all the way to the end of the run? Down the backstretch. Can she stretch this fuel a little bit longer? Jolene Sims to the apron. She's going to try and cut this as short as she can. She might be out of fuel. She's coming around turn 4. Is it going to be enough? Can they catch her? They come out of turn 4. Jolene Sims out of fuel. She takes the checker flag. Oh my goodness, Jolene Sims with the strategy call of the century. How on earth did she stretch that fuel all the way to the end? Wow. Give me 1 second, I need to take a drink of water. Wow. So let's take a look at our finishing results here for tonight. Jolene Sims running out of fuel at the line, your race winner. Jared Talmadge, 4 tires and later pit was the right call apparently. So he got himself second place by down only 2.5 seconds behind Jolene Sims. Thomas Green finishes in third, Tim Moore in fourth, Jonathan Amodio rounds out your top 5. James Mendez in sixth, and Brian Baker in seventh rounds out the last car on the lead lap. Ryan Miniker in eighth, Christopher Law up to ninth place. Jared Newton rounds out the top 10. Andrew Jamelin in 11th, Noah McCalliard in 12th, Brad Qualls in 13th, Jimmy Amos in 14th, Victor Mathiani in 15th, Drew Jewah in 16th, and then Justin Rosema rounds out the field in 17th. All right, so we are going to do some short interviews here real quick. I can barely speak, so I want to keep these pretty brief, but I just hope the guys can hear me whenever they get into the booth. We're going to bring the first one up. Thomas Green, driver of the number 3 machine. Thomas, third place finish here for you tonight. It was looking like a second place, but then out of nowhere, Jared comes in and steals second place from you, coming around turns 3 and 4. Take us through those last few laps there. What was going through your head trying to hold on to second place there?
Yeah, I was just praying that JoJo was going to run out of gas, but that didn't work out. I knew Jarrett was coming just because he pitted way later than us. Me and Tim kind of obviously had the same idea of a strategy, but once I saw him pit, I immediately wanted to counter, see if I could at least get him, and then it turned into maybe we could get the win, and yeah, it didn't pan out. I think Jarrett's pit lap, like he said, was definitely the lap to pit if you're going to, but obviously saving fuel is the call. So
I mean, it was sorry, I'm trying everything I can to talk here at the end, but you had the right strategy there for a while. It just seemed like those 4 fresh tires Jared had was just enough. If you had stopped maybe a lap or 2 later, do you think you would have found yourself in second place?
I honestly think it just kind of came down to my last 5 laps there, which were kind of inconsistent and focuses on my mirror and the leader more than just running my line. I think if playing it back, I could have pitted the same lap and probably had a second place there. But yeah, we got loose out of 2, and then he had a run on us already. And by that point, I knew I was probably going to get past once he went to the bottom. I thought about blocking it, but I also didn't want to get wrecked. So I chose the ladder and take my 3rd place.
3rd place, definitely not a bad place to be after this race, though. That's for sure. So before you head on out, anything else you would like to say? Anybody you would like to thank?
Just shout out to you, man, for broadcasting. Always love watching them back. And shout out to my girlfriend, Anna, for all the love and support.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Thomas, for joining me up here. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you, man.
All right. So now we're going to bring up Jared Talmadge. Jared finished in, whoops, 1 second. There we go. We've got Jared Talmadge up here in the booth. And Jared, after tonight, 2nd place finish for you tonight. Jolene got first. She's going to take the points lead. You're going to be right behind her, though, in the points. But through that last bit, you decided to pit. It was like 12 or so laps to go. You took 4 fresh tires. What was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, there wasn't much. I saw Tim pit, and me and Thomas were talking about pitting, and kind of decided, I guess, to split it there. And he pit early, and because I kept JoJo in the dirty air, I was just trying to get out. And once I got it to 2nd, I was like, okay, this is where I need to pit. And I thought it was going to work, and I almost probably would have if I would have been a lot more aggressive entering pit road. I lost a good bit of time there, but yeah, and then got, I don't know, lap car just 7 laps down, sits in the middle. of the racing line on the bottom. Actually, we have 5 laps down. Sorry, in 13th. But yeah, no, I don't know. JoJo, she deserved to win. She was, I don't know, lights out. Got us everybody by 6+ seconds at one point. So kudos to her. I didn't think she could save the field, to be honest. That's why I didn't do it. But guess you learned something new.
I will say that last run you had before you pitted the last green flag. Give me 1 second. You had really good pace. You were actually pulling away from Jolene. So did you figure out something with the car throughout those first 2 long green flag runs?
I'm not even joking when I say this. Me and Thomas figured out what it was literally 10 laps before that yellow came out. So that yellow honestly saved us because we figured out what she was doing and how to do it. And I think that would have been interesting if it didn't come down to fuel and everybody pitted. I think that would have been really interesting to see who would have came out on top. But I mean, anyways, it was another good race. Yeah, take a second place and move on next week. Nope, we don't race next week. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Hopefully
right,
you'll have a better voice.
Yeah, it'll give me a chance to hopefully get my voice back finally. But before you head on out, anything else you'd like to say? Anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, shout out Thomas, my teammate, you for putting on this broadcast. With that, I applaud you for doing that, and everybody who obviously runs OMA. And yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Jared, for joining me up here in the booth, and congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna pull up Jolene Sims, race winner here tonight, her first win of season 11. And this is actually going to jump her up to the points lead because she got not only the stage win, but she got the race win. And Jolene, that was one heck of a bold strategy. You ran out of fuel coming to the start finish line. What point did you decide that you were going to stretch this fuel all the way to the end of the race?
Yeah, man, it was a great win. As soon as that yellow came out, honestly. Like, as soon as that yellow came out, I knew it was going to have to be a fuel saving. At least, I really did think that everyone else was going to try and go for it. Even, like, especially Tim. And, like, you know, like, I've been trying to work on, like, my weaknesses and racing a lot, with saving tires and stuff like that. And a lot of things that other people were doing were saving, clutching in. I haven't never done that. So, first time ever fuel saving in the VRC, and I fucking made it, dude. I'm so happy with that win.
That was one heck of a win. An amazing strategy call that you had. I'm not going to lie, because watching you go around, I'm like, hey, there's no way not only are you going to be able to make it to the end, but the fact that you held on to the lead, I was surprised that they did not catch you. I thought the way you were driving the car, you were only on throttle for maybe half the track. It was a very, very impressive run there to be able to finish in first place.
Thank you. And you know, and just overall, it was just, I think I would say that's my best showing, like, in the entirety of my VRC iRacing career. You know, I was actually able to save my tires, like, first, like, 100 or so laps of the race and lead and pull away for most of it. So I'm just really happy with that run. And yeah, I really was just clutching in the whole time. I was expecting to save less even because I was expecting to have to race Mendez, and then I thought Jarrett was trying to save too, so I was thinking I had to race him, but thankfully those guys are out, gave me like a 30-second lead to Thomas Green, and I could save that whole way. Just, I'm happy I was able to make it barely.
Well, hey, it was a great run, great strategy call. You did a really good job to get this 6 car into victory lane for the first time this season. So maybe we'll see some more of the 6 car later on in the year. But before you head on out, anybody else you'd like to thank? Anything else you'd like to say?
Just thanks to you, of course, for broadcasting, and especially with that voice. I hope it gets better, man. I can imagine how rough it was. So, you know, hopefully when we come back and whenever we do, everything is all better with you. But thanks for broadcasting, and I'd like to thank McGinnis Motorsports for keeping me here and stuff. Also making up for them for losing the race last week. And also I'd like to shout out my friend has a series on YouTube called Beyond the Vids. It's an animated series, so I want to plug it for them. It's really cool, and I voice act in it, so you all should check it out on Oizio on YouTube. But yeah, happy to get the 6th car in Victory Lane, and hope you have a good night.
All right, well, congratulations, Jolene, and congratulations on taking the points lead with tonight's race.
Thank you.
So with all that being said, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us here at Racing Lights Productions for the Online Motorsports Association's Virtual Racing Championship Larson Line 200. Congrats to Jolene Sims on getting her first win of Season 11 in tonight's race. Join us in 2 weeks as we go over to Europe to race in Austria's Red Bull Ring. Make sure to follow the OMA on Twitter at OMA League. at OMA_League to stay up to date on everything happening with the OMA VRC. We hope you all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I want to thank the OMA for allowing us to bring this race to all of you. Be sure to check us out Racing Light Productions on Twitter with @RacingLightsPro, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. You can also head over to the YouTube channel, where you get to check out previous broadcasts here on the YouTube channel that you might have missed. I'm Alex Light saying good night to you from virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm going to go rest my voice because I can barely talk at this point. Thanks again for tuning in.